Update. I thought cheating on my husband while he built our future would be a thrill, until he found my messages, finished the house, and sold it without a word, leaving me with nothing. David left that night. Took a suitcase and went to his brother's place. I spent the next 3 days calling him, texting him, begging him to come home so we could work through this. He responded once, "My lawyer will be in touch." I thought I still had time to fix things. Thought maybe when he saw the finished house, remembered all the dreams we'd shared, he'd forgive me. The house was supposed to be completed in 2 weeks. Our new beginning. I drove to the construction site that Thursday, expecting to find Connor and the crew putting finishing touches on our dream. Instead, I found a sold sign in the front yard and Connor loading his tools into his truck. "What's going on?" I asked him, my voice shaking. Connor barely looked at me. "Job's done. New owners take possession Monday." "New owners? What are you talking about?" "Your husband sold it. To the Hendersons from across the street. They'd been wanting to upgrade for years, made him an offer he couldn't refuse." The words didn't make sense. "He can't sell our house. We haven't even moved in yet." Connor shrugged. "It was in his name. Apparently you weren't on the deed." That's when I understood. David had been planning this house for 2 years, but he'd never added me to the paperwork. At the time, I thought it was just easier since he was handling all the financing. Now I realized it was the smartest thing he'd ever done. I'd spent months watching my dream house come together, planning which room would be my office, where we'd put the Christmas tree, how I'd decorate the master bedroom. I'd imagined growing old in those rooms, hosting dinner parties in that kitchen, maybe even raising kids in those bedrooms. David had given all of that to strangers. Connor finished loading his truck while I stood there in shock. "For what it's worth," he said, not looking at me, "your husband seems like a good guy. Probably didn't deserve what we did." Then he drove away without another word. I never saw him again. The divorce was swift and brutal. David had documentation of everything. My affair, his financial contribution to the house, my complete lack of legal claim to any of it. He built my dream house and sold it for a profit that I'd never see a penny of. I lost half our friends in the divorce. The other half slowly drifted away when they realized I was the villain in this story. Hard to maintain sympathy for the woman who cheated while her husband worked himself to exhaustion building her a house. My family was furious when they found out what I'd done. My sister, who'd been planning to help me decorate the new house, stopped speaking to me entirely. My parents invited David to Christmas instead of me. Dating became impossible. Our town was small enough that everyone knew the story. I was the woman who'd cheated with the contractor while her husband built her dream house. The betrayal was so perfectly cruel that people shared it like a cautionary tale. I moved into a rental apartment across town, as far from our old neighborhood as I could get. But I still drove past the house sometimes, torturing myself with glimpses of the life I'd thrown away. The Hendersons had painted the front door blue instead of the red I'd chosen. They'd added different landscaping, installed a swing set in the backyard. They were living the life I'd imagined, in the house my husband had built with love I'd repaid with betrayal. Connor had been right about one thing: David was a good guy. Too good for someone like me. He poured his heart into building something beautiful for us, and I destroyed it from the inside while he wasn't looking. I heard through mutual friends that David was dating someone new. A teacher named Rachel who appreciated the little things he did, who didn't take his devotion for granted. They were talking about buying a house together. Something smaller, more modest, but built on a foundation of actual trust. Meanwhile, I was alone in my apartment, scrolling through Zillow listings I couldn't afford, wondering how I'd mistaken good sex for happiness and destroyed the only man who'd ever loved me enough to build me a dream. The worst part was knowing that David had finished the house after he found out about the affair. Had gone to work every day, managed the final details, made sure everything was perfect before he sold it. He'd completed his promise to me even after I'd broken every promise I'd ever made to him. I kept the screenshots he'd forwarded me of my text messages with Connor. Not out of nostalgia, but as a reminder of how ugly I'd become. How I'd mocked David's exhaustion while he killed himself for me. How I'd planned to betray him in our marital bed before we'd even slept in it. Sometimes I wondered what would have happened if I'd just talked to David about feeling neglected. If I'd asked him to work fewer hours, or suggested we take a vacation, or tried couples therapy. But that would have required me to be a partner instead of a cheater. I'd wanted excitement more than I'd wanted my marriage. Wanted to feel desired more than I'd wanted to be deserving. Wanted the thrill of the affair more than I'd wanted the security of home. Now I had none of it. No husband, no house, no Connor, no respect from anyone who knew the truth. Just a studio apartment and the memory of watching strangers move into the house that should have been mine. The dream house became a monument to everything I'd lost and everything I'd never deserved in the first place.